An indie dev reached out to me to talk about their experience. Compared to everything else I've heard so far, I'd say it was par for the course. Often it goes something like this. The programmer is chronically overworked because they're also the overworked designer, who's the overworked artist in his free time, and doesn't get along with the overworked music guy, who's also you. You're your own boss who underpays you and thinks you're a slacker, but wastes their time on Reddit and Twitter and calls it zero-budget marketing. Or gathering feedback from people who are mostly going to tell you to just get rid of the bad parts and make the good parts gooder. Like Cuphead and Hades and Baldur's Gate 3 and the rest of the Indie Hall of Fame who they forget received money in one way or another from AAA to be timed exclusives, or are 30% owned by Tencent. Oh, and have you considered adding multiplayer? And that's if you're talking to a well-intentioned stranger and not another marketing fraud in your inbox going, "Hello, I can make you make a big money." I don't know why they sound like John Malkovich from Rounders, but we'll go with it. Here is deal. You make game. You program. You design. You draw. You make music. You make game. And in turn, I will post on Twitter and Reddit for you for 15% of revenue. I call it zero-budget marketing. That's not going to fly by me, Teddy. And this is the same email you'll get from publisher frauds because they're also the marketing frauds. In short, this guy reaffirmed to me that for the most part, indie development is its own sweet hell. What can I do about it? Generally nothing. I am a romantic who thinks every game has the potential to be a hit, but not every game has the resources to be a hit. And if I can be frank, oftentimes that lacking resources, talent, and experience. Too many devs get stuck on the first game, insisting the only thing holding them back from commercial gold is marketing. All games have a marketing problem. As far as business goes, your game's not special until somebody else with money thinks it's special. My job as a consultant is to help you fulfill your creative vision and sell it in a way that you can live with yourself. And for that, I need to be brought in early when the project's still flexible. Otherwise, you might have to change something later that you'll regret. A lesson oft-learned too late is to design with marketing in mind. The further along you are, the harder it is to change direction, the harder it is to market. This game, Crystal Rail, just had a few more months left in the oven, so there was no sense in my stepping in at this stage. The developer wasn't even asking me to, but every time someone insists that their game is great, directly or indirectly, I can't help but look. See, I have a hard time believing in what I call indie cryptids. Games that are great, it's just no one has found them yet. But I like to challenge my lack of faith. Personally, I believe you get the marketing you deserve, and this case was no different. I could see the problem almost immediately. Crystal Rail has a lot of moving parts. It's complex, and complex games have a stigma of being complicated. To attract investors, games nowadays have to be easy to understand and the payoff has to be immediate or front-loaded. Your game has to be bold yet simple enough to attract a crowd organically, like say Lethal Company, White Knuckle, or Shotgun Cop Man. Or your game has to be safe yet simple enough to fall in line behind past successes like the many games trailing Hades, be it Rainbreaker, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Lost in Random, Ragnar, and Realm of Ink. Even Supergiant Games, known for making unique games, is chasing themselves with their own first sequel, Hades 2. As I recall, Mark Brown sort of mused on this very problem years ago in his video, Can We Improve Tutorials for Complex Games? He talked about how much he'd love to play more complex games, but he can't withstand the process of learning the systems. Likewise, a lot of gamers don't want to spend 20 minutes or so starting a game they might not like. A lot of journalists don't want to cover a game that takes that long to understand, let alone explain to someone else, which makes publishers even less likely to want to work with these games, so we get the same front-loaded experiences and the cycle continues. After playing, I found Crystal Rail to actually be quite simple. You just have to get through the roguelike rulebook, so to speak. Pick a character, make a train, pick a route, pick up resources to make a better train. I managed to pull off a few nasty combos once I came to grips with the mechanics. But there was something more tantalizing on the fringes. There's moral dilemmas, blackmail, slander, charity. The first character I played as is a tarpon good old boy trying to buy back the family farm. He sounded too wholesome to steal or sabotage. He would sooner beg for favor, but this would come at a cost to his reputation. I went from playing to win in a way that wouldn't break the heart of his dear father. Curiouser and curiouser. Mechanically, I could see why the developer compared this game to Super Auto Pets or Slay the Spire. But emotionally, the vibe I felt this game was closer to was Darkest Dungeon or Papers, Please. Games that make you question your morality through the systems and the narrative. A right answer can mean different things, and there could be no right answer at all. Crystal Rail reeked of potential, but it was hidden behind the everything else, and I wondered why. The devs said they wanted to create a beautiful little world, a gorgeous puzzle box that once you found you'd treasure. Then why so coy? Shove those parts into people's faces. There's so many roguelikes. There's so few moral dilemma games. Short answer, he figured this was how you pitch a game. I asked for the pitch deck. This is the document you show investors when asking for money, and I was horrified by what I found. It was standard. I've seen dozens of pitch decks that look exactly like this one. Out of 26 slides, 2 of them stood out, the 2 that showed off a little of the world, the art, the characters. The other slides got lost in themselves doing the roguelike roundabout. Yes, it's another roguelike, but it's not like other roguelikes. But it's not so different that it won't sell. So I present to you another roguelike. Great news then, the game's got potential, just has a presentation problem. The ingredients are there, the recipe is lovely, just have to work on the plating. That'll help give it a better chance of overcoming the next issue, time and money. As it stands, this game cannot continue to be developed on IOUs and coupons. The 2 developers have just enough gas in them to get to summer. As much as I love day trading in the middle of a recession, I ain't got that kind of cash on me. Since I don't, I propose we make the most of our combined resources and we do something different. Because unique games call for unique marketing. I've dabbled in development, I've done a bit of writing, I've voice acted, sound engineering, I have many connections in the space. I can slot right into this project and in turn my name can directly be attached to this game for whatever that's worth. Investors and publishers like that, having some sort of following eases the burden of marketing. It lowers risk, it's not a magic bullet though. A Cold Take video averages somewhere around 70,000 views, assuming all of those are unique. If we apply a generous conversion rate of 4% of 70,000 people wishlisting this game, then that's 2,800 people. Good news is we only need 5,000 people committed to buying this game, so with 4% of people here, we'd be more than halfway there. But we don't want pity. We want you to want the game. Don't touch that link in the description unless you want to play an emotional railroad RPG. It's like on the opposite end of the spectrum of Darkest Dungeon, Papers, Please, and Warhammer, probably. And what do we do with that? We can then use those numbers to do 2 things. Shop around for publishers who are willing to fund us to release, or if we do well enough with Wishlist, then we know we can just go at it on our own. As we speak, the game's being reformatted to fit within a story mode of sorts that I think will take no prisoners, and I'm currently reworking the pitches on the back end to make it more presentable and flirting with the big wallets. What's in it for me? For transparency, I've signed on pro bono, free of charge. First and foremost, I need to see this game reach its potential. Secondly, I get the intangibles, which have always been more valuable to me. People who follow me tend to think I've got a good head for business in theory. When this game becomes a commercial success, like I know it will, then I'll have a good head for business in practice. My gamer credit goes up, my reputation goes up. Then I can use that to do this again and again. And one by one, I'll be able to support more developers and help bring more games to market until I'm the one that gets to sign the check. Until something flops. And then you'll never see me at your favorite bar again, probably. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some zero-budget marketing to do.